What's up guys, it's Drew Blue Shoes here. A few weeks ago I posted a video of me putting the final painting touches on a big moving table that I'm going to be using for bigger shows. But of course part of the problem is it's a big table and I don't do only big shows, I also do smaller, more intimate shows as well. So now I'm going to be making a small moving box, that's right, which also folds up into a table. It's a box to put all your stuff. Hopefully it's gonna be cool, so I'm gonna show you this one from the very start. And of course you just start with an idea. Now most of my ideas go on in my head. Occasionally I'll write them down. For here I'll just sketch out the basic looks of the box, some of the dimensions. First step, done. Second step, go home. Well, to the Home Depot. I'm gonna buy some supplies. There we go. There's step 2. Let's go home, start building. So everybody's creative process is different, but for mine, I like to start with the great big grand view of what I want to create. So that's where I have a small notebook, right? A small notebook is good for the big things because you don't get bogged down by the details. But once I have what I want to create in mind, where a lot of it does stay right in my mind, I need to write it down. That's why I have a bigger notebook where I wrote down some more pictures. I even made a little bit of a list of all the different sizes of boards that I'm gonna need to cut out for this project. So last night I took that and I traced out the 2 pieces of wood with all the different sizes that I'm gonna need. It's a beautiful day out, so I'm gonna move this wood outside. We're gonna cut it and get started with this project. And there's the last piece to cut out. Now we're gonna sand it. That's the next step. So now that we have all the pieces of wood cut out and sanded to size, they're all labeled. There's one more thing I have to do before I assemble it, because this piece of wood, I need to cut a big rectangle right in the middle because the strap, the holder, is gonna go right there. So we're gonna do a combination. The bit, the biggest bit I can find. Is it really a bit if it's huge? I don't know, it seems a bit much. But we're gonna make a hole and then we're gonna use the jigsaw to cut out that rectangle. So we're done cutting out that little rectangle. Now here's a tip from Drew Blue Shoes himself. Don't get bogged down by the details. You can see this is not an exactly perfect rectangle. None of these have exactly straight lines. But something I've learned from years of woodworking is that, well, of course, like Bob Ross says, they're happy little accidents. You can't get bogged down with the details. But secondly, most importantly, is that a little bit of paint can cover up a lack of craftsmanship. That's right, you'll see what I mean in a minute. So all the pieces have been cut out. We have the plans right here. We have a drill. Now we are going to screw them together. But of course, first of all, we have to start with the pilot holes. So I have a small drill bit in the drill this time. That's right, I'm gonna draw where we're gonna put those pilot holes. And of course, the most important part is that you wanna be very intentional with these pilot holes. So we can call them conscious pilot holes. Okay, I'm gonna get crucified for that joke, aren't I? So I've drilled out the pilot holes for the front top part. That's right, we're then gonna put in screws almost all the way through that wood. We're then gonna put the sides on and screw it all the way in. So there's the top portion of the box all put together with screws. Now it's a little rough on the sides, but like I said earlier, we start with a big picture that we want to build. That's right, we had that in the small notebook. Now we're just detailing it out like a sculpture. We have to sculpt it down, cut out all the unnecessary parts, leaving us with only the good parts. So we're now going to move on to the bigger box. Even when you're working with metal and solid stuff like wood and 90-degree angles, we're still going to leave a little bit of room for that flexibility, for the fuzziness. So we're not going to screw these all the way in quite yet. We're going to leave them a little bit flexible. That means that we can put all the pieces together. We can arrange them, move them around a little bit with that little bit of flexibility so that it takes the form that we want. Once it's the exact form that we want, we will entirely screw these all the way in. And as we can see, it's already starting to take shape. That's right, we can start to see how that picture that we had in our mind is slowly becoming reality. So that's what it's going to look like when it's all the way up. It's going to be able to fold down. That's right, this is the handle hole, so then I'll be able to pick it up and carry it wherever I want. So we have the main part together, we have the top folding part together. Now we have to put together the apparatus to fold it together. And of course that's some simple hinges. So I'm gonna put some more lines, some more pilot holes, that's right, conscious pilot holes, right over there on either side. Then we'll put them together. And just like that, it is all hinged together, taking more of the form we were aiming for. But still a lot to go. The next thing I'll need to do is add a locking mechanism so the table will stay up just like this while I'm performing. So what I thought is I would add these little window locks right over here to each side so it can go in when I don't need it locked, and it can go out when I do need it locked open, just like that. I'm gonna have to cut off a little bit of this edge right here so it'll fit in without bothering the folding mechanism. So here we go, let's see how it works. So there seems to be a slight flaw in my initial plan for the lock. If you bring it up just like this, I added one of the locks already. You push it out, it will hold it. But the problem is, from the front, it is at a back angle. That means that not only anything that's on top will be harder for people sitting close to see, but anything that you put on top that's round will simply roll right off the back. So back to the drawing board. Of course, you can't think of every single mistake as a failure or anything, right? Because if we didn't make this mistake, we wouldn't have learned that this method wasn't gonna work, right? So we're now simply moving on to a better method. And just like that, I think I have already thought of a better method. This is what I'm gonna do. I've realized that even when the lock isn't all the way closed up, you can still close that box the entire way. And that's the important part. That's what I'm hoping to do. So, to make sure that it stands up like this, I'm going to add probably a 1.5 square inch piece of wood right to the edge of that lock. I'm going to put a small hole in it, the size of that lock, so it fits inside. That way, I can still move it in and out. It'll still close, but it'll be locked at a flat angle. And just like that, 10 minutes later, it seems like our new method seems to work well. It can close up all the way. We have both those locks right over here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna, just like that, we open it up and it stands at the perfect height. Of course, the other side as well. Boop, boop. And they both help to keep that table level without interrupting its ability to fold all the way down, just like that. Now for the next step, and the next step is very important for all woodworkers. It is wood glue. That's right, Gorilla Wood Glue. We are gonna add some wood glue to those little pieces of wood we added. Any pieces where the wood might have split at the end, or where the screws aren't holding it 100%, or where there's simply a small gap, we're gonna fill it in with wood glue. And about 5 hours of work from yesterday, this was just wood on the Home Depot shelves. But now we have that picture that we've been using, and it's coming into clarity. We are fleshing out the details. So hopefully tomorrow what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work a little bit more on the mechanical side, but hopefully I'll be able to start painting it as well. The glue has been drying overnight and it is looking pretty good. That's right, I have 3 things I need to work on right now. First of all, most importantly, I do need to straighten out that little hole. It's a little crooked. I said don't get bogged down by details. This is a little bit bigger than just a detail. A detail we do have to figure out, which could hurt, is these nails coming out. So I'm going to strip those down on both sides. And then finally, I'm going to add some more corner braces to the bottom, just because I'm clumsy and I'm probably going to drop it. And we don't want it to get hurt, so we're going to work on those three things right now. Now the hole is just a little bit more of a rectangle. Again, we're going to use a little bit of paint to cover up the inconsistencies in the woodworking. Corner braces. Check. 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 Next step, we are going to smooth out these little nails hanging up. We don't want me to get hurt, and we especially don't want any kid to get hurt on these. Now to shave off the edges of these nails, usually you'll use a Dremel, but if you're like me and break every single Dremel you ever buy, we're gonna use the drill with a Dremel bit on it. And just like that, all 6 screws are sanded down. They're not gonna hurt anybody. Once we paint over it, it'll help cover up that ugliness as well. I'm gonna do a little bit more sanding on this guy, but then I think the next step is to start painting it. The fun part, well, one of the fun parts. It's all pretty fun. What? Perfect, so it's looking pretty good so far. Now I've already made a plan for what I'm going to sketch out. That's right, this is hopefully what the painting is going to look like. We're going to put my little logo right here with the stencil I made from the previous table. Go back and watch that video now. We're going to start with a big black circle right around there. That's right. The carrying case hole, that's right, is going to be disguised as a magic wand. We're going to put little white tips right at the end, some black fabric in the hole so it looks like a magic wand, but you can also use it as a handle. And if there's space, I think I'm going to put a blue shoe stencil right there at the top. So there's the first 2 layers of our black circle background. That's right, I'm going to put probably one more layer. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the light blue, hopefully there's enough. We're going to go all the way around it. We're going to do a little bit of sprinkle spray in the middle so it evens out. We don't want sharp lines with this circle. And then we're going to stencil the blue shoe logo right in the middle. And there is that base layer of blue all the way around the outside. I'll let that dry while I show you guys the special banana tree in the backyard. That's right. Can't forget the bottom. You guys like music? Because I think I'm gonna have some bluegrass after this. Oh dear. Blue shoes are gonna go right there, but before I do that, I have to finish the background, and I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow and white sprinkle spray all the way around. The logo is now on. We got a few snafus, a little bit of white line right there, and evidently I didn't let the paint dry long enough because a little bit of the newspaper rubbed off of it. That's right, we're gonna have to clean that up. Okay, as you can tell, that didn't quite go as planned, so we are restarting with a new plan. Sprinkle spray part 2. Take 2. Well, sometimes just everything goes wrong for you, so again, we are restarting. This time I'm gonna take the shape of the shoe and try to spray paint right on top of it. Let's see if it works. So apparently when you are stenciling, you have to choose between whether you want to actually be able to see what you are stenciling or if you want it to overspray. So evidently can't do both, as I couldn't see what I was spraying. And here we are, restarting again. Let's see that. And wow. I would say that worked. That looks pretty cool. Whoa. It's been drying all night. It is looking pretty good. I kind of like the way the black is just an outline rather than a big circle around this shoe. So just like the other table I made, I'm gonna put some blue outlines on the edges of the table. I'm simply starting with the horizontal lines here. Gonna put on a few layers, then we'll change the tape so it's going vertical and put on those vertical edges. And there's a good start to those horizontal lines. I gotta run to a show, so we're gonna finish this project later today. Looking pretty good. Let's tape up those vertical sides and we'll get to painting the rest. Not too bad. The next thing is we are going to add a black outline to that magic wand. I'm gonna show you guys how you can turn a slightly crooked cut into an apparently straight cut. So you might be wondering, how in the world can you straighten out a cut of wood with paint? And well, the secret is, of course, you don't actually cut it out. You just paint a straight enough line. That's right, all the way to the edge of the wood, and it makes it look like your cut of wood is pretty straight. Since, after all, we are in show business, that's right, and as much as we don't like to admit it, appearances are everything. For example, that's why I wear a hat, so that nobody knows I have this crazy hair. Because appearances matter. Of course, you can't just judge somebody off their appearances, though. You also have to take into account the lusciousness and the thickness of the hair. So far, so good. I'm gonna add black there, but take a look. That magic wand looks pretty straight. So one thing I've learned is that whenever you make a mistake, all you have to do is say, it's art. And you know, you just roll with it, because there's no mistakes in art. Now let's drill these pieces of padding into the bottom corners. Perfect. We'll then add some lacquer to it to make it really shine. And then for the felt. So I added felt to the back of there, and it is looking like a magic wand over the magical blue shoes. And the final touches for right now, we are going to add this handle to the top. All right, the handle is in. Here comes the first full test of the smaller side table suitcase. Here we go. Let's see how it works. Just like that. Whoa! It works, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the brand new table. You guys are gonna see this very soon, I hope. Very stylish, that's right. Not as heavy or as big or clunky as that other table I made, but it'll work just as well. So I am super excited to bring this to your next event. Let's do this. So I hope you guys enjoyed that small little project of mine. It's a long video, but a small project. I've used this for quite a few birthday parties so far, and it works great. I'm super excited. The grind never ends, always working on improving my act, so I hope next time, maybe, I'll have an even better table. We'll see, I'll make a video out of it, but don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, drink water, whatever it is. I'll see you guys in the next video.